Okay, so we're starting the recording here, and I am Linda Heimberger with the South Carolina State Library. Everything that you see today as at the Sumter Professional Development Discus program here for discovering Discus for hybrid learning, grades 3 to 5. Everything that you see today is free to you and free to everyone in South Carolina. It is a service provided by the South Carolina State Library. If you have any questions about logins, username, passwords, etc., your immediate media specialist at your school will have that information. Also, you're welcome to contact us at the Discus office if you do have questions there. So these are some of the topics that the actual resources we're going to be looking at today. Many of you have indicated that you use World Almanac for Kids. Most of you say Brain Pop Junior. We're going to try to look at some features to help you, additional features for those, as well as some of our other databases this morning. So this is kind of the framework that we're looking at. You can really take any topic with your grades 3 to 5, whichever unit in which you are building upon, and just take a step-by-step walk through our resources to be able to pull these into your Google Classroom, share them out as an assignments. Your older students, 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, would also be able to pull some of this into their own Google Drive. They'll be able to save. They'll be able to easily cite resources for ELA. You will also be able to pull in videos and provide handouts using our resources there. So you're really not limited as far as the content areas, and there are several different ways your students can utilize these databases. Notice at the bottom of this little framework, we have search across several Discus databases at once. For those of you in your upper level 4th grade, 5th grade, some that are starting 6th grade, you'll find that being able to expand that search will give those students a little bit more that are on that more advanced end, a little bit more search experience and search power still within this Discus framework, so that they're not searching out on the open web, but they're still able to get a variety of sources within one search. So we're going to kind of look at that too, for you to be able to get familiar with that as we go along. I will say I did actually post our feedback survey into the chat at the very beginning of the chat, and we have to scroll up to see that. But we also have one that you can snap there with your phone before you leave today if you would like to do that as well. We are federally funded with the Discus program, and we're not only required to get these surveys, but we're also, I appreciate them personally because it helps me see what is useful to you, what you would like to see more of, etc. Okay, so I'm going to go live now so we can jump into some of these resources. I am going to start with the Discus website here, and I'm just going to be changing that screen to another screen here for you to be able to see the live website. Again, if at any point you have questions, do add those to chat. I am monitoring that as we go here. This is our Discus site that you're going to find linked from your school's media center there. You can also go in directly to scdiscus.org, but it's great if you do go through your school's media center link to Discus. Notice on the top, you can search these databases by grade level. So you could jump into the elementary section here and just see a textual based list that may be easier for some of you who are just pulling together a quick lesson and you already know which database you want to start with. You are also able to go through Discus Kids, and Discus Kids SmartSearch is the search that I mentioned a minute ago, where you can search across several of our databases at once to pull information. But if you continue to scroll down that page, this is where the students are going to be able to have very easy access to their animal kingdom, their culturegrams. One of you mentioned that, several of you mentioned that for your 3rd to 5th graders. The Gale in Context biography is here, all the way down to our World Almanac. So there are several databases that you are welcome to explore here. You will note TumbleMath was just added this year. It is a product of the vendor from TumbleBooks, which many of you may be familiar with. So there's plenty more to explore. And if any of you want to explore more on your own, if you look at our training tab at the top, there are online archives that will give you short videos about different databases. If you want to locate maps in Discus, if you're teaching financial literacy, you want to see what's available there. You can see various recordings about individual databases as well, just for your own benefit as you go along there. So there's a lot more to see than what we can cover in 45 minutes here, but we hope that you're able to take away more that you can integrate with your Google Classroom and your Google Drive as you prepare lessons and deliver them in the hybrid learning environment. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Discus Kids here first and show you specifically for social studies. I'm going to kind of do these by groups. We'll do a little bit of ELA, a little social studies, show you some math as well. But I wanted to go in and show you that World Almanac for Kids that a couple of you have indicated that you use already for different subjects. This has a great interface for those students who have their devices or laptops, that they're easily able to navigate the site themselves, which makes it very appealing to them there. You can actually click on the topics to view the various subjects that would be covered in 3rd to 5th grade. Some of the character building there, they're beginning to get into their earth and their maps. A lot of the geographical piece of countries of the world, etc., are very easily accessible for your students there, along with your life sciences, your science, your math. So as your students are progressing up and learning more about multiplication, for instance, that would be there. Anytime you or a student clicks on any of these topics, you're going to have the same familiar layout. On the left will be all of your textual types of information. So students that are getting introduced to more informational text about multiplication, multiplying, two-digit factors, large numbers, etc., that tie in very well to your state standards. They can actually look at some of the text-based articles there along the left, see any kind of built-in videos, diagrams, etc., to help explain. So this is something that you could easily pull into your Google Classroom using the share for the share piece. For if you wanted students to review this prior to introducing a unit, or maybe you wanted them to read and talk about this after you get into a unit on a particular topic. You can share it to that classroom. You can also email links. If you have a parent who is talking with you, maybe you've just sent out report cards, that student is struggling with an area of multiplication, you can actually email a direct link to the student, to this page, or to the parent, for them to be able to assist their student at home. So in the hybrid environment, when you're really incorporating a lot more of that parental guidance, parental help there, you can also share these as links out to the parent to support them. If we look once again at our results when we just clicked on multiplication, on the right will always be the fun facts that are related to a topic, whether it's life science, whether it's social studies there. These are really great for you to introduce units. So if you are just beginning to introduce a unit to a student there related to multiplication, for instance, this is a good way. These are sometimes really good elements to just get their interest sparked as you're maybe talking to them in the hybrid environment over the online piece. The other part that you'll always find, in addition to your text on the right and your fun facts at the top, are any videos related to your topic. So if you are in ELA and you're maybe discussing sentences or a particular piece, the videos are here. Games and puzzles are there on the right. And you and your students will get familiar with each of these areas and buckets as you go along there. If you wanted to add this video to your Google Classroom here on multiplication, you could do that as well. And you see the video is here. It tells a little bit about what it's about. You would simply click on share. And once again, you would be able to share it to that Google Classroom. So it could be an announcement of read this, or it could be incorporated into a Google Classroom assignment there. And I'm just going to click on it here for you to see how you can begin that process, select your class, etc., determine what you want it to actually be, whether an announcement, assignment, etc. And obviously yours is going to be much more robust as far as your Google Classroom. Mine is just an example there to show you how easily it is to integrate it into your classroom. The other piece that's fantastic when you're on the teacher side of this is not only do you have a great platform for students to navigate, but you also have these great teacher resources here on the right. And this is where you're going to be able to locate a lot of printable handouts to utilize just to get the student off of so much screen time. I know that's really been a problem since March of, students just having to sit and with eyes glazed over with the screen. You could actually pull some of these related worksheets and pieces here and save them as a PDF. You can save them as a PDF, save them in your Google Drive if you want to do it that way. You can save it as a PDF and post this little offline practice for your students to print out and practice working through some of the pieces here. So just be aware that all of these worksheets are available to you across all of the topics. So those of you that are teaching that third grade geography now, you might want to, again, utilize some of these pieces. They tie in very well to the state standards, particularly with mapping skills and learning about the different continents and the landforms that they're going to be covering and different cultures around the world. So for instance, if we pull up this worksheet that is an activity for students to be able to really kind of work within the clues that are given here, going north 2 blocks, south 2 blocks, etc. The question is going to be, draw the paths to take Casey and Smitty to the stuffed mouse. So if they get all of their directions correct, they're then going to be able to answer that question. So again, a lot of this offline piece is going to be a very good use to you. You'll notice at the top, you're able to download these here and save those up to your Google Classroom also. So you're going to be able to take a lot of good advantage to the various topics, but in using some of these resources that pull their eyes away from so much of the online glaze that they're getting. You will also see just all the different pieces with landmarks, globes, etc. are available here. And I do want to point out to you another piece that is very useful, that can be very useful to you in your actual delivery of your instruction within World Almanac for Kids Elementary, is you can also just go and search directly. You can either view these pieces from your topics here. We go back up to the topics at the top. You can view them topic by topic. So if you are just interested in, maybe you're doing a section on maps and landforms, you can go straight to that section, whether you are delivering this face-to-face or via Google Meet there to your students. There's some great pieces about parts of maps, types of maps, different types of landforms available here, along with those fun facts and videos that I mentioned before. So again, in one spot, you're going to be able to help provide the information as you're teaching, but also help those students. Maybe you've assigned group work and you have 3 groups that are now reporting back to you on different landforms about basins and canyons and continents there. The beauty of this is your students that have here, as you can see, they're going to have actual information articles that include citations for everything. So you're going to find the citation that goes with each one of the textual articles along with your video. So if your student groups that are broken out to discuss landforms, whether they're doing it virtually over Google Meet or face-to-face, are always going to have the ability to cite their sources. So even as you're teaching that in ELA, it's reinforced when you move over to a social studies type of topic. The read alouds are available for each one of these topics as well. So when your student clicks on the read aloud, they're going to have this article read aloud to them here. They can turn that back off. So this is easily navigable by your student, but also it has a lot of robust pieces for you as well. So in the more here, your students are going to find science projects, maps, flags, and fun facts here. Notice when they go to their maps on their side of the interface, if you're looking at a particular country here, you can look by country. You can also just look by continent, those countries that are within the continents there. They can also click on all under this piece. And if we scroll to all the way to the bottom, well, just in alphabetical order, actually, because we're going through all of the countries that you see here, you'll see they are all in alphabetical order. So all of these maps are going to include everything from the states to the continents, etc. I just clicked on Asia here. They can see the various different countries. Notice they're getting the detailed maps. So if you are a 4th grade teacher and you're covering South Carolina now, you could just pull up, they could pull up South Carolina on their side. They could see the map, see some of the details that they need to memorize. And then on the teacher side, under your teacher resources, you can actually provide an offline map test for them. You could go, oops, excuse me, I clicked on printable handouts. You could go right into the outline maps that you see here in your teacher resources. You could be able to pull up your South Carolina map for them here. And this is where you could do the little map test quiz. And some people are actually integrating this into technologies they already have. Some are trying to get them to be able to do some offline work. So you could either use this as a digital PDF, or you could print it out and have them print it out and fill it in there. So there are a lot of the teacher resources that are available for students there for you to be able to easily pull together in a unit and not have to reinvent the wheel. There are some great science diagrams, so pieces that you are looking for these grade levels, where you might want to, show them the water cycle, or have a handout to show them about different places or biomes, etc. A little demographic of acid rain there. So all of these science diagrams and other pieces are another section in which you could use for your unit building, your lesson delivery, and for assignments. You can also just go in directly and do a search if you just wanted to find everything on water cycle very easily there. You're going to be able to find articles that are there, videos that cover the water cycle, etc. For hybrid teaching and learning. And I know that one of you or a couple of you had mentioned World Almanac for Kids that you've used before. You're welcome to put in the chat there anything that you may find useful that you've found to incorporate this database. I have a comment here that says I've used Animal Kingdom and Britannica Kids. Students working remotely continue to tell me they were prompted for a library card number in order to access. This is the part, thank you for posting this in chat. This is the part that is important, that there is a username and password that goes along. Each year we change this on July 31st of each year, actually August 1st, it becomes a new username and password. You are able to get that information from your media specialist at your school. You're also able to contact the Discus office if you find that you need to have this username and password. And I have just posted that Discus office email address there inside chat in case any of you find that you need that. It is best to go through your media specialist first because she or he will have that available to you there as well. We aren't able to actually show it over online as we're recording because it can't be posted to an open website, but you can certainly post it into your Google Classroom or anything that is authenticated where a student actually logs in to see it there. So if you have additional questions about that, yes, certainly. So you will be able to get that information from the Discus office or from your media specialist. So I'm going to take you to another step here. So if you had students that were already maybe getting started, maybe they were assigned different countries to view there, maybe they're studying countries, studying the world. As you see here, the 50 states, etc. If they've already kind of used this as a beginning to the unit, or maybe you've introduced something in the unit there, this is a great place to then take off and explore other databases. So if we have countries of the world here and they're beginning to view, maybe they're assigned different countries to study here, and then within each continent, they're going to be able to pull a lot of information and research for their papers here or for their reports, again, with all the citation information readily available. But they might need to go to the next step and do a little bit more advanced research as they go on up into 4th and 5th grade. So a great place to do that is going to be in our Gale. And again, I'm on the Discus page. I'm back at my Discus Kids tab. And we're going to look at the Gale in Context Elementary here. This is going to help you with when you assign homework and lessons related to a topic. This gives you a little bit more shopping power for students to get a little bit more advanced information. And again, these are broken out by subject. So if you are studying the countries, for instance, or peoples of the world, they can click on geography. They can continue to kind of view the different pockets that they have here. If they want to explore countries more specifically, they could click here and continue to browse, which is fine. They're going to be able to easily get to this information. But notice they're also able to search directly. So if they're just assigned Egypt, they could go in and just search directly on Egypt here at the top and pull their country information too. The beauty of Gale in Context Elementary, though, especially for upper level 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th graders, is they're now being introduced to more types of information. Book articles, news articles, magazine articles that go along with their particular search topics. And they're not actually out on the open web, so they're not being distracted by other pieces there. They're actually able to gather more resources and information just by doing their search here. So if we are continuing to, let's just say, look up Egypt there, and we're looking for the country of Egypt, they're going to have a great overview of their topic that's provided for them here with key pieces of information. But then they can also gather additional information. So now we can go down to some of our biographical information about Egypt. We can find other pieces on Egypt here that will all be easily cited. Students that are studying, again, maybe the water cycle, as we go here, they're going to have that overview. They're going to have any of those articles and resources that then help them as well. So if you go in and you are looking at this illustration of the water cycle and you say, oh, this would be great for me to pull that over into my Google Classroom, you can easily do that at the top. You just want to make sure, again, that you're signed in to your Google account. So you have the Google Classroom sign in up here. And then you can see here at the bottom, you're going to be able to, the students can even save it to their Google Drive. So if they want to then go back at any point and refer to an article that they looked up for research, or cite that article, or use it to, you know, talk to the class, even in a virtual environment there, they're going to have that opportunity as well. So once it's saved up to their Google Drive, here, they can actually also take notes. So if you want students to actually pull up some of the articles, maybe you're doing something related to maybe pollution and fish. We'll just do pollution and fish search here. Maybe you're asking, you know, how can pollution affect aquatic life, for instance? And they find a really good maybe article there. We can just say pollution here on this magazine article, for instance. They could then go in and read the article and take a little notes about it. So if they want to take some notes here, they can highlight the piece of article. They can highlight here how toxins are affected with pollution, for instance. They can make a note. You know, if they just want to ask teacher about this, they can make a note to themselves. If they want to make a note to add this to my paper somewhere, they can make a note to themselves there and save that. Anything that they do here is going to save to that Google account at this point. So whenever they go down and they want to save this article to their Google Drive, look at the top where you see the little airplane, and we'll just show you the airplane here. Send to. This is where they have the option to save it to their Microsoft or their Google Drive, and you are a Google district, so that would be the obvious one here. As soon as it says their documents have been sent, they're going to be able to go in and access their Google Drive. And in their recent documents, right there on my drive, in their recent documents, they're going to find everything that they just saved. So that pollution article is right here on top. And I can click on it here. And you're going to find that they're going to get their article pulled into their Google Drive, but it's also going to have any markup that they did there. So any markup, any notes will be right at the bottom of whatever note they've given themselves. So if they're looking up something on George Washington and they want to, you know, maybe look up additional information about a particular aspect, they can make notes to themselves to do that. This way, whether they're in the hybrid environment or face-to-face, as they're working through some of their research, they're going to easily be able to pull that up at home or at school using their Google Drive there on their device. The other great thing about the context in Gale and Context Elementary is if a student is reading along and they're struggling with a particular word, maybe the word organism here they don't understand, they can double click on that word and get the definition. So this helps a lot with those standards where the state standards where they're asking the student to kind of go another step at learning about meanings of words and phrases, or that paragraph level content of understanding there. they can easily pull definitions as they're reading the articles there. Looking at chat, okay, so we haven't had anything else added to chat yet, but I am keeping an eye peeled in that direction. So something to just help you understand the difference between a student saving the article to their Google Drive and saving the citation is this. When they're looking at their article, they would, if they want to save that source citation, they'll do it below the article here. If they're wanting to save the article to their Google Drive, they'll do that using the little paper airplane there. So if we are going in and we decide we want to search on westward expansion, as an example, maybe this is a topic you're covering here. They can look at their book articles related, magazine articles there as well. Biographical information, maybe you're going to have them select a key figure there that has to do with westward expansion. They click on their magazine article. They can see all of their information here about the Oregon Trail, and then they can easily, again, cite that information. So that would be available to them there as well. And the other piece, if they now want to do maybe more specific searching there on Sitting Bull, for instance, or a particular person, they're also going to get plenty of biographical information. Also finding other newspapers and articles as well. If you have them reporting in a PowerPoint, they can also utilize these pictures. Again, everything is going to have a citation. So they'll be able to keep using those good ELA skills as they utilize this database there as well. Keywords to the article, background, life, etc. That's available. So they can certainly send it to Google Drive. They can also download articles directly to their device, or just print it out if they just want to get a printout of it. So are there any questions about Gale and Context Elementary? This is great for the 3rd to 5th grade levels because, again, it expands their experience a little bit further to do some of the searching on their own there as well. Okay, go ahead and put any kind of questions you have there in chat if you have any specific questions for me there. You will also find within Gale and Context Elementary, you'll also find other resources. So I'm looking now at level 1. If we go to level 2, that's going to be a little bit more advanced and a little bit more in-depth articles that they'll find there. You may find if you are using one of these in class that you can utilize some of these scalable text pieces so that if you want to make it the words actually larger on the screen for something you're showing them, you can do that all within the software here on the right. If it would be helpful to your student to hear this article being read, notice here, just like in your World Almanac for kids, in the Gale and Context, they can also listen aloud for these articles as well and have it read aloud to them. And then something else that you'll also find here when you're in the Gale and Context Elementary, as you as a teacher can just do an advanced search. So if you are looking for something specific, let's say you want to limit to just a specific content type. Let's say you only want videos. You can do an advanced search when you're preparing a lesson or a unit, searching for videos here. You can actually say, you know, water cycle videos or whatever your topic is, Or if you just want to view all of the videos that are available in this collection, you can choose content type, don't add anything else, click on search, and you're going to be able to see the entire video collection. And what you're going to find in this collection is actually mainly more STEM types of things, things to do with science and math, temperate forests, big picture here. If you're maybe wanting them to just get a really quick video on how magnets work, for instance, these are going to be very short and sweet videos, usually 2 minutes or so, and you can see this one is less than a minute, that will help you to demonstrate a particular concept or a particular process there as well. So if you're doing a unit, maybe there on the science unit on magnets, for instance, and you want to go in and add this to your Google Classroom, you can do that just by going up to your classroom and then adding it there and putting it in as an announcement or putting it in as an assignment there. So you can integrate just a really brief video. Maybe you don't need a 40-minute video explaining magnets, but maybe some students are struggling with a concept. That's a great way to find those videos to support your teaching and learning there as well. And then in addition to your worksheets that you found as we were looking in our World Almanac for Kids, many of you may have heard of Learn 360. It's most well known for its videos. These are going to provide some short videos like you found in your elementary, but also these are going to provide longer videos and videos with multiple segments. So again, if I am doing a search here, if I go in and do my water cycle search here, you can see that I'm pulling up videos for grades 3 to 5, 6 to 8, all the way up to 9 to 12 here. And obviously that's not going to be useful for your 3rd to 5th graders. So you can easily filter those results. There may be 1,000 results that include something about water cycle, but you can go to all grades, filter by grades 3 to 5, and now you're only going to be pulling those that are relevant, of those thousands, those that would be relevant to your grade level here. And within these videos, you can also click on it, open up the actual video, and to save you some of that precious prep time and teaching time, you can actually look at the transcript of the video and kind of get an overview to make sure it's hitting all those key points of what you would want to share with the students. Some of the videos are full videos of which you're only looking at a segment. So you can see this one is actually just a 3-minute video segment itself. But if you want to look at the full video that this goes with, you could go back out and view the full video as well. So you could either save a segment to your Google Classroom, or you could save an entire video there in preparation for one of your pieces there. Notice too, especially in the hybrid world, when you turn on the video, and I know you won't be able to hear it here, but there is within the video a closed caption piece that really helps students that are learning from home to hear the words and see the words as they're being spoken. So that's one more way to help reinforce. So anything that you're showing in class, that's going to be useful for you there as well. Notice too, when I did my water cycle search here, initially, not only do you have videos, but you have a ton of other resources here. You have additional printables tab. You have STEM lessons that may go along with concepts that you're teaching here. So as you see here, STEM lessons that would go along with it. You have printables, just like we showed you in our World Almanac piece, that you might want to share up to your Google Classroom. And then there are also interactives that you could just print off and have students work through. So if we go through the mailbox here, does water ever disappear? So you could pull that up, actually load it, see if it's a handout you would like them to do as an offline sort of activity there. And if it does end up being something you would like to have them do just to kind of demonstrate what they've learned for that lesson, you can share that, again, out to your Google Classroom. So you could put that in as an assignment. Maybe the video is part of an announcement and the actual activity is part of your assignment that you've added there. So that's another very robust piece. If you are, practicing reading skills or reading in content there, and you want to pull up some of the pieces there that would still be relevant for your grade levels, you can just do a broad search such as reading and only limit those to those grade levels. Again, this kind of supports, again, your geography, learning about reading maps there. And all of the Reading Rainbow series that we have available for us, excellent for the 3rd to 5th graders there. And I'm just going to click on that. This is a good example for you how you can actually look and view all of the different videos that are here in the Reading Rainbow series, but then you're also able to go back and look at other segments. So if you're not only wanting just this segment on how much is a million, but maybe you're pulling in another segment that you would like really big numbers, you can also add that one to your Google Classroom. Many of you mentioned having the Magic School Bus. That is actually housed here in Learn 360. It's also easily accessed just from directly from our page here. So our Magic School Bus series is here. And that's something else you could incorporate in your hybrid learning there. I also want to emphasize to you the maps, particularly those of you that are doing social studies. There are going to be all kinds of maps and flags in addition to what you find in your World Almanac that you could then go to that section, and you're going to be able to find additional teaching tools, maps, and flags here for your students. If you're learning about cultures and countries there, you're going to be able to pull that. Sorry about that, I left my L off. If it's world cultures that you're studying, again, you're going to be able to look across here and find all kinds of images, printables, and other pieces after you sort there by your grade level. You're going to be able to go to any of those tabs to get additional resources. This is great for diversity, for instance, here. And then those of you that are really concentrating on math and you're trying to help students maybe understand concepts there, maybe they're just learning about multiplication or learning to factor, or perhaps they're just getting started with long division and they need a little bit of help there as well. You'll find that they have videos for that to help support that also. Also under the games and activities tab here, maybe you just want them to be able to drop off and do something fun during the day that kind of reinforces some of the skills that they're learning. The home run derby math here, for instance, and multiplication. You could pull this game up into your Google Classroom and let them kind of play through that and reinforce some of the skills, just having fun and not necessarily doing an assignment that's graded, but having some learning fun there as well. And then one of our newest databases collections is our TumbleMath. And this is goes right along with our TumbleBooks that many of you are familiar with. But TumbleMath is going to help get your students really able to reinforce their literacy skills at the same time they're learning math skills. So our counting is more for our kindergartner levels, but We do have multiplication, word problem types of books here, graphing, etc., that you can share out to students. And the easiest way to do this is to locate a book that maybe you are teaching a multiplication section, or maybe you're teaching a specific concept that you want to be able to pull into a lesson there. Maybe you need some lesson plan ideas. So you could actually pull up the storybook that's animated just like the ones you find in TumbleBooks. You could actually pull up the storybook. You can show this in class. As it progresses through the story, many of these are going to be teaching a particular math concept, and some of them are stories that just incorporate that math concept, but you can always pause it, ask students to help read aloud, to reinforce the reading skills there. If you want to link this to an assignment, you would just go up to the index in TumbleMath, and you're able to do this also in TumbleBooks. But you could go to the index in TumbleMath. You can sort by category so that you would be able to scroll through all of the math multiplication books, for instance, if those are the only ones that you're interested in. Once you do this by index, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the multiplying minutes that we have here. All you need to do is pull that book ID there to the left. Just click on that. And this is going to give you the direct link to that book in TumbleMath. So if you want to post this link in an assignment for Google Classroom there, and maybe have them read the book independently, and then you all could share it in class and talk about it. You would be able to pull that direct link and copy it and add it to your Google Classroom assignment. And what that's going to do when the student or parent clicks on that link, it's going to pull up that page. So it's going to take them back directly to the page of that storybook. Again, if they have to have the Discus username and password, you would want to make sure you have that posted in your Google Classroom, or post it to your Google assignment in Google Classroom, so that they would have the username and the password to actually get into the link. They will not, they're going to be able to get into, to open TumbleMath, but to open the actual book, they may need that username and password. So that's something just to get them very used to having the Google, the username and password there. So those are some of the resources that you can add to your toolkit there that easily integrate with the Google Classroom. If you all are wanting to do a little bit more advanced searching, maybe you want to search across multiple databases there to find resources for your lesson plans. Maybe you want to see other ebooks that are available, for instance. You can actually do a search there. And I'm just going to do water cycle again as a search, but certainly you could search on particular people or westward expansion, etc. When you do that Discus Kids search, it is going to pull from across several of our databases. So this will give your fifth grader a little bit more meat to work with here. It's going to be a very Google-esque type search, but notice there are filters on the left that allow you and the students to be able to pick specific types of formats of information. So not only do we have videos about the water cycle here, but notice on the right, I want to see magazine articles, or I want to strictly see, book articles there. They're going to be able to search those as well. Maybe only primary source documents. So they can actually limit to the kind of resource. So if you tell them, I want you to report about something and find one magazine article, one book, and one video, they're going to be able to easily find different types of information in one place here. Notice also you could, as a teacher, could actually limit by the particular database. So if you've done a search across all of our databases and you only want to pull those that are from Learn 360, or Britannica, you can limit to those search results as well. So this expands your searching where you're not having to go in and out of every database to search. You're going to be able to pull resources from each database using that Discus Kids interface search. And then you can kind of go from there as well. So that's all I have for you today. I know that we are just about out of time. I am pulling up chat one more time to check for any additional questions that you might have shared. Also, I'm also pasting for you that the survey link. If you all have a moment, if you would please respond to the Discus survey there. We do need this for our reporting, for our federal reporting, but also I appreciate the feedback to see what works for you, what's new, what you'd liked, and what you might need to be having training on in the future. We also work with your media specialists to do school level trainings. If you all ever want an after school training on a particular database or maybe a particular grade level of resources, we can do that as well. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I am going to, this is recorded, so you are going to be able to refer back to it. They're inside your software of what Melissa Boyce and others are creating for you for today's Professional Development Day. So I'm going to stop the actual recording, but I see there's still participants. So if any of you want to ask me a question using your microphone instead of chatting, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to stop the recording.